I'm going to be analyzing a scene from Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm going to be analyzing his famous meteor monologue. For a bit of context, this happens right after a fight with the Ultron has with the Avengers. He ends up kidnapping Black Widow, and he took control, or he took some vibranium after a fight with the Avengers. So we get to see what he's doing leading up into the big final fight of the movie. B, where his headspace is at, and C, what happened to Black Widow and how is she doing in the whole thing.
I wasn't sure you'd wake up. I hoped you would. I wanted to show you. I don't have anyone else. I think a lot about meteors, the purity of them. Boom, the end, start again. The world made clean for the new man to rebuild. I was meant to be new. I was meant to be beautiful. The world would have looked to the sky and seen hope, seen mercy. Instead, they'll look up in horror because of you. You've wounded me. I give you full marks for that. But, like the man said, what doesn't kill you just makes me stronger.
Okay, I'm gonna start analyzing the scene as I go through it. I don't even know why I'm paused. Actually, I was supposed to. But so it's very dark. This is the beginning of the scene where we see his robot selves, his other bodies that he uses in the big final fight being made. And it's dark. You can see silhouettes. The darkness, his big villain vibes. This is, his secret base. Very cool for villains. Same thing with technology. We have this music that's drumming up to the reveal of Black Widow, who was kidnapped by him in one of the previous scenes in the movie, and him and his current body. Let me see. And one thing is that we later see how he talks about how people were supposed to look at him. I believe that the director wanted this scene to kind of show how chauvinistic and performative he can be. He could have put her in the cell and closed it, and that would have been the end of it. And it makes more sense to do that. But he left her right outside of it so he could do his big performance to make her scared, to show her what he's thinking. So I definitely think that's a thing that he did on purpose instead of just by happenstance.
I wasn't sure you'd wake up. I hoped you would. I wanted to show you.
Right there, he is, despite having a robotic body in this scene, he is very uh emotion. You can see his emotion on his expressive. That's the word. He's very expressive, but we see that he loses that in his new body at the end of the scene. So he's moving on from being more human or more heroic into being more villainous and monstrous.
Have anyone else?
And again, we still see with the scene, it's dark and dim and it's, very villainy.
I think a lot about meteors, the purity of them. Boom, the end, start again.
And she's looking, she's seeing, looking up at him in fear, like he wanted the human race and everybody
World
to
made clean.
or now
A
wants.
new man to rebuild. I was meant to be new. I was meant to be beautiful.
And very expressive on his face that he later loses.
The world would have looked to the sky and seen hope, seen mercy.
And I believe right here, this is what I always thought, that the director right here wanted to show Black Widow having what he is talking about, as he's talking about how he wants people to look up and see a symbol of hope and mercy and all that. She's having a little bit, just a glimmer of hope herself that there might be a way to talk him down from what he's doing. But then
Instead, they'll look up in horror because of you.
she's now looking up in horror, like you said. She really represents the Avengers and the human race as a whole, and how they're doing right now against Ultron. Now after hearing that, she's now looking.
Wounded me. I give you full.
And he's encroaching on her space, and we still haven't seen them together. We still haven't. So they're not close enough. They're completely separate, but he is encroaching on her space and getting closer to the camera, making, I believe the director wanted to A, make us feel more uncomfortable, and B, to really show just how, how close he's getting to his final goal.
Marks for that. But, like the man said, what doesn't kill you just
And right there, very brutal scene out of nowhere. He didn't really have a reason to do that. It was very clearly super performative, and he looks more villainous now. He has less expression on his face, more armor. He's clearly ready for the big final battle that'll happen in the next leg somewhere here. And the man that he was referring to was Tony, his creator.
makes me stronger.
And as she represents the human race, this shows what he wants to do to the human race. Very common with robotic, like suddenly awakened AI or robotic characters. He wants to lock them up because he thinks it's for the best. But also, his character is built off the idea of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Because when he first appeared, this is what he looked like.
Peace in our time.
And that's what he was originally trying to do. He wanted peace, but he moved on. Well, he wants peace in a different way. But he originally was super uh, mangled, and over time, as he broke down this body and would take over a new one, he would become better and stronger. Again, as she looks up in fear after seeing his new body. So ultimately, what I think that whole scene was a was drumming up the big fight at the end that we see with the Avengers, and B, showing where his headspace is kind of at, how he's fully moved away from any human nature he had beforehand, showing less expression. He's in a darker area. The light was on his back instead of on his face, or front side was on his back, showing he's moving away from it. And we don't ever really see them in the same shot, showing that he is completely separate from anything human, regardless of what he was before, or I believe that's what the director was trying to show us. So it was dark, and the music very ominous, like how they wanted us to feel, and where the characters were standing as he was getting closer. While we saw from her POV, I believe that's the director wanted us to feel that sense of his imposing character. While even though all of this he's doing this, he's really just doing it to show off, to make her scared, uh, because he cares about how people see him, and he's lashing out. So that is what I believe.